Southland Disability Enterprises employs 82 people with intellectual disabilities. We've got people that have been here all of their working life. They manage recycling for the entire Southland region. There wouldn't be many employees that come and give me a cuddle if I was the boss of another company, and these guys do, so it's pretty cool. You gonna have a good day?
Yeah.
Yeah? What'd you do last night?
Had a glass of wine.
Wine?
Yeah.
Our organisation is very tight-knit. Well, it's like any family. They care and fight and annoy and love and cuddle each other just like any other family does. If something happened to one of our people, then they'd all be sticking up for them. So it's your genuine family unit, to be fair. Not only have these people worked together all of their lives, a lot of these people went to school together down here in Southland. These people have been together forever, so yeah, they are a family.
I'm Mary-Ellen Joyce. I live in Invercargill. I work at Southland Disability Enterprises. Get up, have a shower, put my contacts in, and get my breakfast ready. Clean my teeth, get ready, go out to the bus.
We employ 82 disabled people and 20 plus mainstream employees. Predominantly, our disabled people have an intellectual disability.
No. 55. And that's my room. There was TV. That thing. Rugby. Oh, bless you. That's me. In the workshop. That's it. In the right place.
Oh, when you leave, forgot your key. Wonder where we put your hat. How'd you get onto the whiskers? They all right?
Yeah.
Good. Neville, he very seldom says he's not going to work. But you don't get him staying home more than one day. After that, it's back to work.
I do the bus well. Like working there.
They all talk about it as being family, and that's how they treat them.
Send you off.
I think he likes to think he's done what the other members of the family have done. He was very thrilled, but the important thing to him, he had done things the family had gone to, and that was just as important as any of the achievements he made, because he's doing what the others are doing or have done. Yeah.
Gone to work.
They all feel, although they're contributing, that they're of some value. That's really probably a highlight as far as they're concerned.
In the past year, We've been under threat of losing a major contract, putting all of these jobs at risk. Our main contract is with WasteNet, which is the 3 councils in Southland, and we sort their recycling. We see our role as just providing quality and meaningful work that enriches our guys' lives, and so sorting seems to be an activity that our people, they can do comfortably.
This area is the plastic sort, so each person's got their own different product that they need to be getting out of there, from milk bottles, clear PET bottles, coloured bottles, then the mixed plastics and aluminium cans, so each person's sorting their own product. And they're all, each of them within their own area, very good at it, and they'll be used to their own particular products.
I take away sorting off. Clay bottles and plastic bags, good.
Mary-Ellen works up on the line. She's been there over 20 years. She went there from school. She's really happy there. It gives them a purpose in life every day. That's the fantastic thing with Mary. It's like at SDE, they give them their birthdays off, right? And they're allowed to have their day of the birthday off. But she doesn't like the day of her birthday off because she likes to get on the bus and she likes them to sing her happy birthday. So she wants to go to work, so she does, so.
This is Anna. Hi. That's my boyfriend, Ian.
Routine is very important for her. That's another day that I'm going to miss out on the gossip at work. I think that's what she was really worried about, because she was like, oh, I'll miss out.
I know Mary for over 24 years.
Maybe we've found our niche. Along with that is the ability to, with the different types of work that we've got, is to move our people around to suit their needs or to apply a task that suits them.
Neville down the end, he usually props himself up at the head of the table, so yeah, it's usually where we find him anyway. Getting some papers ready for shredding at the moment, so as he sorts through them, and then they'll go through and get done.
Neville's one of those people that have been here a long time, and he was a strapping lad in his youth, and he used to break down pallets for a job at one stage, which is you've got to be pretty tough and strong to be able to do that. But as his ability to balance has changed over time, he's now in the packing room, and I think we'll all agree he's enjoying his time in there, and he likes to hold court with the guys, and that's cool. He's a pretty smiley sort of a character.
We're going to progress through from this album, take all these pages out and put them just over here in the meantime, because I want this big folder. That one can go over. That's more of the same bloke, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
He won't tell us anything about work. You might get more out of them than what we would, but what happens at work stays at work. And he's very much that way.
If you ask him what he did at work today, he'd say, listen, that.
Did you paint the roof? Yes, we finished it.
Tell you anything. Neville's now 55. He was born at Downs, and he had cerebral edema when he was 2 days old, which put him in hospital for a month. And then they didn't know if he was going to survive or not, but He was a tough little character, and he had a lot of illness in the first 5 years, a lot of breathing and lung problems. And they told us, for us to understand it, it was the same as you or I having a stroke.
I'm going to push it this time yourself. Neville loves poking through photographs. He does spend a lot of time looking at the individual photographs and can tell you more about the background than what I would notice, or anybody else for that matter, I think. And he loves to ferret through them and just see what's there. He'll sit for ages just occasionally passing me something or just looking at what's going on.
All their family, just right, Keith and Jeannie.
Mary-Ellen, it turns out that I've known her a very long time. Since I was a lad, I knew and know her family well. She also has been here a long time and is a wonderful part of the team. Mary-Ellen's very switched on at what she's got to be doing, and when she's got activities that she's going away to do, she goes away and has been doing some preparation for independent living, cooking and that in some afternoons a week. So we support that and encourage it with our employees.
G'day, Joycey, how are you? It's good. How was your day? Busy. Busy? Oh, that's good then. Mary-Ellen was born on my 10th birthday, so her and I are exactly 10 years to the day, our birthdays.
So if you grab the cheese out, Mary, and can you grab the board? Yeah. Do you want to wash your hands? Because you've just fed the cat.
Yeah.
She was never treated any different just because she had Down syndrome. She was just like the rest of us. She was always expected, I suppose. We had expectations. She was expected to just do everything like the rest of us did. She might have done things a bit slower. Her milestones might have been a bit slower than normal, but apart from that, she was just rough and tumble like the rest of us, so.
We've got roast potatoes and roast pumpkin.
I think that's probably why she's done as well, because she's never been made any difference of the fact that she has Down syndrome was never made any different. You know, we didn't think of her as any different. Mum had passed away and we had a house on the market at the time, and my husband said, "Oh, why doesn't Mary come and live with us?" And I was like, back the truck up a little bit here. It's like, that's a huge commitment, you know. And he said, no, I think if we could find the right place, it would be quite cool. So that was all right. We had looked at this place and we thought, oh, this place would be ideal, because upstairs it had a room with an ensuite, separate toilet, shower and a big walk-in wardrobe. So here we are. So that was 23 years ago.
So much need to see the prep, but if we can be on.
I'll be cooking tea and I'll say, right, come down, Mary, and you can give me a hand, and so she'll help me make a cheese sauce or mince. If we're having mince, she loves breaking it up, you know, and she'll get it down to the finest details, you know. So there's lots of little things like that she does. She comes down and helps me with.
Oh, good girl. You heard it, mate. Yeah.
And it makes her feel important and included as well. We want her to sort of get into a space where we can go fletting, but in a supportive environment with someone coming in maybe in the mornings to check on her to make sure everything's done, and then in the evenings, make sure that tea's sorted or whatever, you know.
No.
Come on, out of the kitchen. She's not allowed in the kitchen because we nearly trip over her, don't we, Mary?
Yeah.
You know, if something happened to Neville and I'd hate her to be thrown in the deep end that all of a sudden you've got to move out. So it's better for her to do the transition while we're still around. Hard and all as it will be. It's always been in the back of our minds, I suppose, but it's always like, oh, you know, if that's too hard basket, we'll just leave that at the moment. Yeah. It was. It's hard doing it as a sibling and having cared for her for so long, but I think from a parent's perspective, if you are an older parent, yeah, it would be pretty difficult.
Well, I don't know that we've been very successful in making any plans, which we should be trying a bit harder to do, but we haven't sort of tidied that aspect up to any great extent. And we keep putting it off, I suppose, but we're going to have to get ourselves into gear and do some planning for the future, because...
we're not always going to manage here, but...
And we're probably not going to always be here. We've worked on the principle that we should be, but nature doesn't allow things to work that way, so we've probably got to do some serious thinking.
And I've had some good surgeons because I've had cancer 3 times, so I think I've been lucky. It's velour, that one. Maybe we better do this one first.
Okay.
Because this is last week's. We've got 2 down as staff.
Some of the IH people have got flats and that sort of thing, but...
that wasn't what he wanted.
Neville never wanted to venture away from here. He was given plenty of times that he was asked whether he wanted to or not, but no. And he loves family. If anybody's about the family, he's really into it.
And the next one is charades.
Bingo.
When Don was in hospital a couple of years ago there, he wanted to always be with us when we went. He didn't like us going without him.
As he's got a little bit older, he's less occupying his room by himself, and he likes to come out and be with us for a bit longer.
Canada has the world's largest number of what food outlets, with Japan the second highest.
Donuts.
Donuts. We have added onto the house a bed sitting room for him because he didn't want to leave home. He wanted to stay with us and family. He's last in the family, and he was born in 1964. He lines himself up with the Beatles. We lived at the fire station. Oh, Don was a fireman then. Many years ago, we met at the fire station through a friend of his who thought he was real clever in matchmaking. That was many, many years ago, because now we've been married for 62 years. On the days it never works, I usually have tea pretty much ready when he comes home. This is the boring part of life, really. For me, I'm tired of cooking. He doesn't cook. He used to be able to help and peel veggies and things like that, but over the last few years, he can't stand for very long. So he put that out of his mind to do. It wasn't something he could do, so. Nearly forgot, didn't I? He used to completely share himself. He shares himself still, but he has to have help getting dried. He has spinal stenosis, which is his vertebrae is breaking down and pressing on the nerve that goes up his back to his brain, and it refers back to pain, and this is supposed to help relieve it.
We have people living in many different circumstances. We have people who live at home still, who might be what we would consider to be quite mature, as in their 50s, still living at home. We have people living independently, and they're actually more often than not living on their own rather than in a flatting situation. So they might be in flats around town. One of the main concerns with the people that live independently is the fact that they have quite elderly parents mostly, and these elderly parents are still having to make sure that their loved one's okay and looked after, fed well. They may be taking meals to them, when the reality is they're not that well themselves. If they qualify for some care, it's only for a limited amount of time a day or a week. And I think the threshold for saying that someone can cook for themselves is fairly low. Work pretty hard to try and give our guys a meal as often as we can at lunchtime. In my perfect world, we'll be able to do that every day, but we haven't quite achieved that financially yet. But we certainly provide a meal when we can, which is nutritious and hot.
No work. Do you know why?
No.
Because you and Deborah have done a good job cleaning it all up. Yeah. So as soon as any more comes in, we'll bring it into you.
We often talk about belonging here and giving a sense of belonging and somewhere that they feel it's theirs. And so that's why it's very difficult to describe this place.
Teams, best pairs.
Division 4 10-pin team.
Yep, that's another one. That's another goal.
You might have to hold those two in your hand.
Yep.
I'm a butcher by trade. Then I decided one day that I needed to do something different, so I went and became a teacher and did my degree and did some postgraduate study as well, and taught primary initially, and then I was involved with disability and teaching students with disabilities at a secondary school, where that really opened my eyes up to the support that people need. They're often spread out around the town and find it difficult to go and see anyone and interact socially.
They finish work on a Wednesday and the SDE bus drops them off at bowling. Mary's always loved 10-pin bowling. Every Wednesday night for years, that's been her thing. That is just another social interaction for her. And most of the guys that she bowls with work at SDE. It was very cool I think it was last year she went to Nationals. She'd never been before, but went away to Nationals and for 10-pin bowling, so throughout the whole New Zealand, loved it. That was a great experience for her.
He won't play off a ramp because he wants to still bowl, but I have to take his ball up to where he's going to bowl from because he can't keep balance, and sometimes you think he's going to go for a roll down with the ball, but he doesn't. He manages. He doesn't score like he used to. He's not good at that now, but he still enjoys it. And so while he's enjoying it, I think it's important for him to do it.
Mary, she is a wee social butterfly. Well, more in the school holidays I like to do stuff with her because I normally like to have her off for a week if I'm home, Neville's working. So we go and we'll go out for coffee or we'll go and get our nails done.
Cheers. It's nice, isn't it? Actually, what we might do is get one of those frames that you can put like several pictures in, and we might do up a one for you, just of Fiji for you to have in your room. That would be cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Because we just...
The thing I want to is to be able to be a sister to her, not a carer. And that's really important as well, because at the moment I'm a carer, so like to be able to be her sister and have that special relationship back would be good.
That was one night before dinner, wasn't it, Mary?
Yeah.
Was that... Hey, did we go Asian restaurant that night, Mary?
Yeah, we did, yeah.
We always struggle to get people to understand those sorts of sentiments and actions. It's not that people don't want to understand, it's just that when you're not around disability all the time or vulnerable people or you know, those sorts of demographics, people just don't need to understand. Even our new employees, when they come to work here, our mainstream employees that I can tell have some empathy but haven't worked in this space before, it's like we've opened up a whole new horizon of life. Did you usually do, or did you go quiet today and shy?
No, I'm not shy.
Anyone who leaves here, no matter how long they've been working here for, would leave here a more understanding person about disability and vulnerable people.
Attitude was made with funding from New Zealand On Air.